things that I thought we should meditate on today are, as you can see, quite a contrast. St. James is talking about what happens when we don't obey God, when we don't trust God, we don't do what He's taught us to do. Why do the wars, where do the wars, and where do the conflicts among you come from? Is it not from your passions that make war within your members? Yes. You know, yesterday we were reflecting on the notion of freedom. Freedom is grounded in truth. There is no other freedom. Freedom is the capacity to realize your destiny, to realize your nature, to realize who you are. See, dogs, they do what they can, but they never have the capacity to reflect on themselves and realize who they are and realize that goal. That's freedom. See, a person who's an addict, for instance, I do what I want. They don't. They can't do what they want. But they think that that's freedom. It's not freedom. Freedom is the capacity to realize the deepest potential of your being, which is to be in union with God forever. And to follow the truth is to follow that until it leads you to that union with God forever. That's freedom. And where are the obstacles? Right here. Is it not from your passions that make war within your members? You covet but do not possess. You kill and envy, but you cannot obtain. You do not possess because you do not ask. You see, the mess we're in this country, in the world, you see, is because we're not grounded in truth. And so, the Beatitudes and the other potential. You know, it says in Psalm 1, blessed is the man who doesn't walk according to the counsel of the wicked, or follow the counsel of the wicked, walk according to the advice of the evil, or sit in the chair of the mockers. Right? Follow, walk, sit. By the time you sit, do it. There's two ways. Blessed is the man who doesn't do that. But, you see, he finds his delight in the will of God, in the Torah. You see, his delight is in the Torah, in God's will and in hearing what God has done for us and taking it in and making that the principle. That's freedom. Not so the wicked, not so. They're like chaff, blown away by the wind. He takes some outstanding examples. Mao Zedong killed 70 million of his own citizens. See, the phenomenon today, too complicated for so early in the morning, but states are no longer natural groupings. States are the work of imposing a principle. That's why you get these tiny little things, France, Germany, Belgium. What are they? They're totally artificial. That's the basic problem with the West right now, on that level. Well then, they can be run according to whatever principles you want. And so, the government can kill its own citizens. 70 million in China, 20 million in Russia, 10 million in Germany, 100 million people killed. Why? To realize a utopia designed by a few. And since this is so wonderful and they are so enlightened, they have the right to imprison and kill anybody who stands in their way. That's the absolute opposite of truth. And so the very Son of God himself gives us here the way to peace. It's called sometimes in exegesis the great reversal. Everything you don't think will work, works, and everything you think will work, doesn't work. And so, blessed, ashereh, which means, doing what God wills, and also arriving at your goal. Blessed. Blessed can mean two things. Sometimes it means blessed because God is acting. Like, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. That's a blessing. That's not a virtue. That's not something you do. You see, it's a gift. So blessing is a gift. But it's also a gift that can lead to a response because it's the truth. Blessed are the poor in spirit, which means, as you know, blessed are they who are poor right down to the very core of their being. Humble, poor, concerned about others. Blessed are the poor. You've heard me a lot on this. See, the poor man is somebody who delights in the experience of dependence upon God. We all depend on God, but we spend most of our life trying to avoid the experience. But you get sick, you lose your job, and all of a sudden, you're either in a panic or you're at peace, depending on whether you're poor or rich. If you're poor, you trust. If you're rich, that is, your ego is being offended, you go crazy. See, blessed are those who are poor right down to the core of their being, and therefore delight in the experience of poverty. That is, they don't like a lot of stuff around to build up their ego. They stay away from it because it disturbs peace. Classic example in regard to money. Somebody gave St. Francis a bag of gold. Now, they're not living by begging, right? A bag of gold. He took it and he threw it in the donkey. Don't give me that stuff. That leads to problems. Isn't that what James just said? You covet what you do not possess. You kill and envy. You want this stuff. You see? And Jesus, who is the Son of God, is saying, that's not the way to fulfillment, my friends. That's not the way.